Bruce Reid to Gavaskar. Good shot. Beautiful place here again. Only a yard or so wide of the man at forward square or round towards mid-wicket. And this very quick outfield is giving full value out there today.
Beautifully played. You didn't pull there to Sunil Gavaskar.
Before Sachin Tendulkar carried the hopes of a billion people, before Virat Kohli brought aggressive fire to the pitch, there was a man who taught an entire nation how to stand tall. Today, we celebrate the 77th birthday of the original Little Master, Sunil Manohar Gavaskar.
That's it in the air down towards square leg over the top of the infield, so no problems for Gavaskar down there, another boundary.
But the story of India's greatest opening batsman almost ended before it even began. It's a piece of a trivia that sounds like a movie script. Born on July 10, 1949, a mix-up in the hospital meant baby Sunil was accidentally placed in the crib of a local fisherman's wife. It was his eagle-eyed uncle, Narayan Masurkar, who noticed that a tiny birthmark, a mole near the left earlobe, was missing on the baby sleeping in his nephew's cot. A frantic search ensued, and the real baby Sunil was found sleeping peacefully next to the fisherman's wife. Had it not been for that tiny mole, the history of world cricket would have been vastly different. Fast forward to 1971. A 21-year-old Gavaskar arrives in the Caribbean. What followed was just not a debut, it was an earthquake. 774 runs in his first Test series. He did not just score runs, he conquered the most fearsome fast bowling battery in the world. He was so brilliant that the locals wrote a calypso song about him. And it goes, "It was Gavaskar, the real master. Just like a wall, we could not out Gavaskar at all." And here is the most staggering part. Modern batters look like gladiators, heavily armored from head to toe. Gavaskar faced the most lethal fast bowlers in the history of the game. Andy Roberts, Michael Holding, Malcolm Marshall, Dennis Lillee, Jeff Thompson, with nothing more than just a floppy sun hat or a flimsy plastic skull cap. He did not need a helmet. He had an immaculate technique, leaving the ball with millimeter precision and an ironclad courage that simply could not be broken. But his genius was not just in his bravery, it was in his razor-sharp cricketing brain. Take the 1981-82 Ranji Trophy semi-final. Bombay was struggling against Karnataka's left-arm spinner Raghuram Bhatt on a viciously turning track. A right-hander had no choice, had no chance, had no issues. So what does Gavaskar do? He tells his captain he is going to bat left-handed. Yes, in a high-pressure domestic semi-final, one of the greatest right-handed batters in the history came out and switched his stance and batted left-handed to nullify the spin, safely guiding his team to a draw, securing their spots in the final. Who else even dares to think like that? It was the genius of Gavaskar. And then in 1983, in an illustrious 17-year career, Gavaskar still ranks that World Cup victory as his absolute peak. But there was an hilarious untold story from that final at Lord's. As the final West Indian wicket fell and the crowd invaded the pitch at the Lord's, the ball rolled to Gavaskar at gully. Knowing it was a piece of history, he shoved that match ball deep into his pocket and sprinted towards the pavilion to escape the mob. As he was running, dodging thousands of fans, he suddenly felt a hand slip into his pocket. Someone was trying to pickpocket the World Cup final match ball. Sunny grabbed the thief's wrist, did not let go, and kept sprinting into the dressing room. 31 years later, while commentating at Lord's in 2014, a gentleman walked up to him and sheepishly confessed, "Sir, do you recognize me? I was the guy who tried to pick your pocket in 1983. He was the first man in the history of the game to scale the impossible Mount Everest of 10,000 test runs. He was the man who eclipsed Sir Don Bradman's seemingly untouchable record of 29 test centuries, finishing with his career with 34 test tons. But statistically, only tell the half story. Sunil Gavaskar gave India cricket its spine. He showed a developing nation that they did not have to be intimidated by the giants of the world. He taught them to look to the fastest bowlers in the eyes and drive them straight back down the ground. Today at 77, his voice in the commentary box remains as authoritative, sharp and passionate as his famous straight drive. Happy 77th Sunny Bhai. Thank you for teaching Indian cricket how to walk, so that the next generation could fly.
They were not prepared to just save the game. They were wanting to go out, finish the tour in a blaze of glory. What a win! What a magnificent win!